As someone who has spent years diving into Tolkien's deeper lore, Tom Bombadil has always fascinated me. He's one of the most mysterious characters in all of Middle-earth, and honestly, one of the most powerful. But here's what really gets me. Tom Bombadil is the only being in The Lord of the Rings who can wear the One Ring and remain completely unaffected by it. Not tempted, not corrupted, not even interested. When Frodo offers him the ring, Tom just laughs, puts it on, and it has absolutely zero power over him. So the question becomes, was Sauron afraid of Tom Bombadil? And if so, why? That's what we'll investigate in this video. Let's start with what actually happens when Tom Bombadil encounters the ring. This is one of the most incredible scenes in the Fellowship of the Ring, and it's completely absent from the films. The hobbits are staying with Tom and Goldberry after being rescued from Old Man Willow and the Barrow Wights. During dinner, Frodo, almost as a test, hands the ring to Tom. Here's what Tolkien writes. Tom put the ring to his eye and laughed. He took no notice of it. He put it on the end of his little finger and held it up to the light. Then, with a slow wink, he put it on. Now, this is absolutely shocking if you understand what the ring is. This is an artifact containing a massive portion of Sauron's power and will. It corrupts Gandalf. It corrupts Galadriel. It would corrupt Aragorn. It destroyed Boromir's judgment and drove Gollum to complete obsession. But Tom Bombadil, he treats it like a party trick. And here's the most important part. When Tom puts on the ring, he doesn't vanish. Everyone else who wears the ring becomes invisible, pulled partially into the Wraith world, but not Tom. Tolkien continues. Nothing happened. Tom laughed again and threw it in the air. And behold, it was not there. The ring has no power over him whatsoever. He can make it disappear, reappear, and he's completely immune to its influence. This is unprecedented. There is no other character in all of Middle-earth with this level of immunity to the ring's corruption. After witnessing this, the hobbits discuss something very interesting. Frodo tests whether Tom is still there when he himself puts on the ring. Most people can't see ring-bearers when they wear it. They're invisible in the normal world. But Tom, he sees Frodo perfectly clearly and even tells him to take it off. This confirms that Tom exists on a different level of reality than everyone else. Now, the Council of Elrond actually discusses the possibility of giving the ring to Tom Bombadil for safekeeping. This is a serious proposal debated by the wisest beings in Middle-earth. Here's what Gandalf says in The Fellowship of the Ring. He is a strange creature, but maybe I should have summoned him to our council. He would not have come. Think about that. Gandalf, one of the maiar sent by the Valar themselves, admits that Tom Bombadil wouldn't come even if summoned. Tom doesn't answer to anyone, not even the Astari. Gandalf continues. Could we not still send messages to him and obtain his help? No, I should not put the burthen of this task on him. He would not take it. He cares not for such things. This is crucial. It's not that Tom couldn't help. It's that he wouldn't. He exists outside the concerns of the rest of Middle-earth. Glorfindel then explains why giving the ring to Tom wouldn't work. But in any case, it would be dangerous to entrust it to him. He would soon forget it, or most likely throw it away. Such things have no hold on his mind. So Tom is powerful enough to resist the ring completely, but he's also so indifferent to the conflicts of Middle-earth that he'd probably just lose it, or forget about it. This raises a fascinating question. Who or what is Tom Bombadil? Tolkien deliberately left this ambiguous. In his letters, he stated that he intended Tom to remain a mystery, representing certain things about nature and reality that can't be fully explained. But we do know some things about him. Tom claims to be older than everything. In the Fellowship of the Ring, he says, "Eldest, that's what I am. Mark my words, my friends. Tom was here before the river and the trees. Tom remembers the first raindrop and the first acorn. If this is true, and there's no reason to doubt him, then Tom predates the entire history of Middle-earth as we know it. He was there before Morgoth corrupted the world. He was there before the elves awakened. He might even predate the Ainur's entrance into Ea, the created universe. This would make him older than Sauron by an incomprehensible margin. Sauron is a maiar, a divine being who entered the world at its creation. He's immensely powerful, having served Morgoth and later become a Dark Lord himself. But Tom Bombadil, he's something else entirely. The text gives us another crucial clue when Elrond discusses what would happen if Sauron reclaimed the ring. If he, Sauron, regains it, your valor is vain, and his victory will be swift and complete. So complete that none can foresee the end of it while this world lasts. If it is destroyed, then he will fall, and his fall will be so low that none can foresee his arising ever again. But notice what Glorfindel says about Tom Bombadil in that same discussion. I think that in the end, if all else is conquered, Bombadil will fall, last as he was first, and then night will come. This is extraordinary. Even if Sauron conquers everything, all of Middle-earth, all resistance crushed, Tom Bombadil would be the last to fall. Not Gandalf, not Galadriel, not the remaining elves. Tom would outlast them all. The only way to defeat Tom would be to conquer literally everything else first. And even then, it's described as the coming of night, the end of the world itself. So would Sauron fear Tom Bombadil? The answer is complicated. Sauron's goal is domination and control. He wants to rule all of Middle-earth, to bring every living thing under his will. Tom Bombadil represents something Sauron cannot control, cannot corrupt, and cannot understand. Tom exists in complete freedom, bound by nothing, caring for nothing beyond his own small domain. In a sense, Tom is Sauron's opposite. Sauron craves power and dominion. Tom has immense power, but desires no dominion whatsoever. Sauron wants to control the ring, and through it control all other rings and their bearers. Tom can't even be bothered to keep track of the ring. It literally has no hold on him. But here's the thing. Tom also represents no threat to Sauron's plans. Tom has chosen self-imposed boundaries. He stays in his land, the old forest, and the surrounding area, and doesn't involve himself in the wider world's conflicts. Gandalf makes this clear. He would not understand the need, and if he were given the ring, he would soon forget it, or most likely throw it away. So Sauron probably wasn't actively afraid of Tom, in the sense of fearing an enemy who might attack him. But Sauron would certainly recognize that Tom is beyond his reach, beyond his corruption, and fundamentally incomprehensible to his way of thinking. There's a passage that hints at this. In the Fellowship of the Ring, when discussing whether to give Tom the ring, Galdor says, "But I had forgotten Bombadil, if indeed this is still the same that walked the woods and hills long ago, and even then was older than the old. That was not then his name." The fact that the elves, who have lived for thousands of years, speak of Tom as ancient even to them, shows just how far beyond normal comprehension he exists. There's also the question of what Tom actually is. Some readers speculate he might be a valar, who chose to limit himself, or perhaps one of the Ainur, who entered the world before the shaping began. Others suggest he might be something even older, a spirit of the world itself from before the Valar arrived. Tolkien never confirmed any of these theories, saying only, Tom Bombadil is not an important person to the narrative. I suppose he has some importance as a comment. He represents something that I feel important, though I would not be prepared to analyze the feeling precisely. What we can say definitively is this: Tom Bombadil is the only being in Middle-earth who is completely immune to the One Ring's power. He can wear it without effect, can see through its invisibility, and treats it as utterly insignificant. If Sauron knew about Tom, and given Tom's age, and the fact that the elves know of him, Sauron probably did, he would have to recognize Tom as something beyond his ability to dominate or corrupt. Did Sauron fear Tom? Perhaps not in the traditional sense, because Tom posed no active threat. Tom wouldn't march to Mordor or lead armies against him. But Sauron would have to acknowledge that here was a being who existed entirely outside the framework of power that Sauron understood. For someone whose entire existence revolves around domination and control, encountering something that cannot be dominated or controlled, and doesn't even care about your power, might be even more disturbing than facing a powerful enemy. The tragedy, or perhaps the beauty, of Tom Bombadil is that he could probably have destroyed the ring himself or defeated Sauron if he chose to care. But he doesn't. He's chosen a different path, to exist in his own space, with Goldberry, tending to the old forest, singing his songs, and remaining utterly indifferent to the great struggles of the age. In a world consumed by the War of the Ring, Tom is the only one who has achieved true freedom. Freedom even from the desire for power. So while Sauron may not have feared Tom as an enemy, he would have to recognize Tom as proof that his philosophy of power and domination isn't universal. There exists at least one being who is utterly beyond his reach, utterly immune to his influence, and utterly unconcerned with his existence. For a creature like Sauron, that might be the most unsettling thing of all. If you enjoyed this exploration of one of Tolkien's greatest mysteries, please subscribe for more deep dives into Middle-earth lore. Drop a like if you found this interesting, and let me know in the comments. Do you think Sauron knew about Tom Bombadil? What do you think Tom actually is? Take care, and see you in the next one.